exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Translation with repetition. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly, O Govinda, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. But there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature, as much as fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign, as much as the falling temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Hence the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing with yet another beautiful verse from the series of Kunti Maharani's prayers, and this verse Kunti Maharani is talking about something which is very powerful, very deep, and something which is very important for each one of us as sadhaka, as to what is a big impediment in our path of achieving the love of Godhead? What is that big impediment? What is that that acts as an obstacle or that acts as a big detrimental thing in our path of spiritual life? That's what Kunti Maharani is mentioning in this. And we will see this very nicely. The purport Prabhupada brings so many wonderful points. First thing that Prabhupada is talking about in this purport is being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. This is what is the definition of material advancement means. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family, possessing great wealth, education, and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. The very powerful point which Prabhupada is bringing here. Actually, if you see the whole society, the definition of the success somehow or other is very nicely encapsulated by this first few lines of this purport, where Prabhupada is saying that advancement of material civilization means one should have a nice good birth. A person who is taking birth in a probably Brahmin family, in a Hindu context, he is considered to be very superior. Or somebody who has got lot of money, Janma Aishwarya, lot of money, he is a millionaire, he is a billionaire, or he is considered very respectable. What if somebody has got education or very high intelligence? He is also considered very successful. And the fourth one is if somebody is considered to be very beautiful, he's got a beautiful body, a very nice appearance, then he is considered to be very successful. That's the definition of success in this Kali Yuga. So people are, that's why, mad after enhancing, increasing these things. Janma Aishwarya Shrutashri. There is nothing wrong to have good birth or have lot of money or have intelligence or have beauty in life. That's nothing wrong. Actually, it is based on our past good karma. Somebody is blessed with all these four things. But the problem is this four things leads to pride. Janma Aishwarya Shrutashri Edha Mana Mada Puman. It leads to pride, and that pride is a big obstacle, hindrance in the path of our spiritual life. In the previous verse, Kunti Maharani was telling, Vipada santu tasasvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavata darshanam yat syad apunar bhava darshanam. So she was telling that vipadas, or the distresses or the calamities in life, are impediments, are impetus for someone to take up to the path of devotion. Vipada santuta sasvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavata darshanam yatsyad napunar bhava darshanam. So the calamities, difficulties, miseries in our life, though it is not welcome, though it is very difficult, but they are impetus for us to become spiritual, to take up to this path of devotion. And in this verse she is telling that these four things are impediments in the path of devotion. If somebody has got these things, it is not that per se these things are bad, but when somebody has these four things, it leads to pride. And when pride comes, that becomes a difficult thing for accepting the Lord. As Prabhupada mentions in the purport beautifully, one cannot call out the Lord feelingly. That because I'm so puffed up, I'm so proud, I'm so conceit, or I'm having so much of arrogance that I don't think I need to go to the Lord or call out to Him feelingly. Long back I had seen a definition of the word ego. Very interestingly, the definition of the word ego was edging God out. So EGO, edging God out. The verse is very clear. There is not much complication. Is that mic off? Okay. The verse is very clear what is trying to say. But the problem is, how do we apply it in our life? sometimes even if we have taken up to this path of devotion and we want to become a devotee, we also might get puffed up. And when that pride comes, how we get distracted and deviated from this path, we don't know. And we will be completely lost. So what we will do today is, I thought I'll share one pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it's a very interesting pastime. Bhagavad Gita, as you all know, we chanted all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Day before yesterday? Or yesterday? Day before yesterday. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the battlefield. And in the battlefield, Krishna and Arjuna didn't have a lot of time. Krishna had to finish this instruction pretty quickly. So hardly, some historians say it took about 45 minutes. I mean, for that day, when we chanted, it took probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours or something. We finished entire 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. So there was an imminent battle, and Arjuna was confused, and Krishna had to instruct. And Arjuna came to this conclusion: Nashtam moha smritir labdvad tvat prasadat mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishya vachanam tava. I am ready now. I am ready to fight. And Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayisyami ma sucha. But how should we give up all other duties? How should we, what are those duties that we should give up? And how should we surrender? There was no time to explain all those things. Then comes Srimad Bhagavatam, where Parikshit was cursed to die in 7 days, apparently had little longer time to hear. So the descriptions of Bhagavatam talks about various examples of how to surrender to the Lord. How we can give up all these material duties and how we can surrender to the Lord. But that is also 7 days and 7 nights. That's all Parikshit had. But now in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though he didn't live for a long time, he lived for 48 years, out of which 24 years he was traveling. I mean, he was, first 24 years he had his childhood pastimes, Grihastha life. He took sannyas at the age of 24. 6 years he traveled after that to South India. 18 years he spent in Jagannath Puri. So this is in Jagannath Puri, this pastime which happened. Chaitanya Charitamrita is another, such a powerful book, to such depth, some of these things which are really the problems or impediments in our progress in spiritual life are very nicely brought out. And those incidents deliberately are there so that sadhakas like us can learn from this. So we will take one incident from Chaitanya Charitamrita and we will see how something very powerful we can learn from this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was staying in Jagannath Puri, there used to be Jagannath festival, the Rath Yatra, and the devotees from all over India, they used to come, like all this Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, the Vaishnavas from Bengal, they all used to come. They used to flock, and then they used to have tumultuous, kirtan like this, and used to be very ecstatic. Those days, people were not traveling by train or by plane or something. They used to walk, and it used to take long time to reach. So somebody has to plan like well in advance, 2-3 months, so that he can walk and reach Jagannath Puri on time. So Sanatan Goswami, who was living in Vrindavan, decided to come and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So since he was walking and he was coming through the Jharkhand forest, he was in so much of ecstasy of meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes he was eating, sometimes he was not. He was completely absent-minded. He was completely absorbed in the thought, oh my God, I'm going to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after such a long time. I'm going to participate in the Rath Yatra festival. So he was very, very, in a great mood of ecstasy. He was trying to cross this Jharkhand forest and come. In the meantime, he was thirsty one day and he drank some water. Because of that water that he drank, in his body, there were a lot of sores. There were some infection which came, and there were pus, liquid coming out of it. It was a very, very troublesome. It was very difficult that all these problems he was having. So when he developed all these sores and these problems, he thought it is better to commit suicide. I mean, What is the use of this body? This body has got pus, infection, sores. It's not good. This is what he was thinking in his mind. Of course, he reached Jagannath Puri, and he didn't go to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was staying with Haridas Thakur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after his daily, darshan of Jagannath, he will go to and Sanatana Goswami used to live with Haridas Thakur. So that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made fun of Sanatana Goswami, saying that, you see this one person, he has decided to give up his body. So it is like, suppose you are appreciating somebody else's property, and then in your mind you are deciding that I should distribute this property. That property doesn't belong to you, but you thought that this property is very nice. I have got my relatives and other friends and people, so I'll distribute. This portion will go to this man, this portion will go to that man. Like that you are thinking in your mind. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, actually once you have become initiated, once you have taken diksha from a guru, your body is no more yours. Your body is your guru's. Manasa deha geho jo kichu moro arpilu tuha pade nanda kishore. After we have become initiated, actually this is a very powerful thing. Our body, mind, everything is now guru's. So I should dedicate this guru. There is no more adhikara of mine on this. Like what Sanatana Goswami was thinking, that he will commit suicide, and because this body is the source of difficulty and source of problems, he wanted to finish it. So when all these things are going on, there is a very nice thing which happened in this pastime. Let us see that. So this is, I'll read the translation, I'll skip the words so that we can get the essence of this pastime. Sanatana Goswami had come to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri during the month of April and May. And during the months of May and June, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tested him. See, sometimes the Lord tests us. He puts us in difficulties. He sees whether we are really looking for Krishna Prema, which is a very lofty thing. Very, very, it's not some cheap thing which is available. Anybody can do it. Anybody can get it. Very lofty. And the Lord tests us. So he's telling that in that month of May and June, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the garden of Yameshwara, Lord Shiva, and accepted prasadam there at the request of the devotees. Then at noon, when it was time for lunch, the Lord called for Sanatana Goswami, whose happiness increased because of the call. So this is one temple, Yameshwar temple, in the garden of Yameshwar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting prasadam, and through one of his servant, he called for Sanatana Goswami. And when Sanatana Goswami got this invitation or the call that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has remembered me, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking of me, he was very ecstatic. His happiness increased. And this is, mind you, in the month of May and June. Anybody has gone to Jagannath Puri in the month of May and June? I have lived there. So, May and June is extremely hot, very hot in Jagannath Puri. So what happened, Sanatana Goswami, when he got this invitation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at noon the sand on the beach was as hot as fire. The beach, like where the sand is there. There are two ways to reach to this place. One is in front of the Singhadwara, the Grand Road, or the other one is through the beach. And in the beach, like the sand is hot as fire. And what Sanatana Goswami did was, overwhelmed by joy at being called by the Lord, Sanatana Goswami did not feel that his feet were burning in the hot sand. Because he was so ecstatic. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has remembered me. I mean, I am just insignificant, nobody, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is remembering me. And in that ecstasy, he didn't feel the heat, that his feet were actually burning. So feet was burning, But he didn't mind it because he was overwhelmed by the joy being called by the Lord. Although the soles of his feet were blistered because of the feet, he nevertheless went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There he found that Lord, having taken his lunch, was resting. Very important thing here. The first thing that we have to remember in our devotional life from this incident, although the soles of his feet were blistered because of the heat, he nevertheless went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's a fact that he was going through some bodily inconveniences, but he still went to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The point is, sometimes people take up to this Krishna consciousness and draw lines, limits. I will take care of my family, I will take care of my job, I'll take care of my house. After that, if there is time, I will also go to temple, or I'll do some service. I'll take up to Krishna consciousness. This is all my comfort zone. This comfort zone should not be compromised at any cost. Once this comfort zone is completely taken care of, then whatever time I have, whatever little I can do, I'll come. Whatever time I feel like, I may be a little late here, I may be a little this thing, and I can only do this thing. Or sometimes I would expect that the whole preparation, some nice thing has been made, and I'll come and eat the feast. It is not true. It is not the fact. This is not how it should be. One should be ready to take that inconveniences, austerities in spiritual life if our goal is Krishna Prema. This is the first thing. Although the soles of his feet were blistered because of the heat, he nevertheless went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, in the spiritual life, in an organization, this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada, that he has established this ISKCON, where devotees come together. There are inconveniences. There are some services which are not easy, which are difficult. But there are people who are looking for their easy comfort zone, and they don't want to get out of that. They always want to be that. Those devotees, it is very difficult to advance for them to get Krishna Prema. You can come. Coming to Krishna consciousness, everybody is welcome. Chaturvidha bhajante ye mam jana sukirtino arjuna arto artarthir jigyansu jnanircha bhartarshava. You are distressed, you have got some problems, you want to come to Krishna consciousness, welcome, your problem will be solved. Somebody is looking that, okay, it's a big temple, maybe I'll network, I'll get some money, contacts, do something, fine, you can come. Artharthi, who's looking for some money. Jigyansu, somebody who's thinking, what is this Hare Krishna devotee? Sometimes I see them on the street, they are dancing, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sometimes they are having discourse. What is it that they are doing? I want to figure it out. Yes, you can come. Somebody is a jnani who's thinking that this material world is very dangerous. I'm not supposed to be in this material world. I'm a spirit soul. I'm supposed to be lying in Brahman and not do anything and just be there. No. The spirit soul has got activities to do. And Srila Prabhupada has given us activities since 3:30 in the morning till night. So you can come and you can find out what activities have to be done. But if you want Krishna Prema, one thing that we have to understand, that it is a difficult life. The purport, that one purport of Srila Prabhupada, which is a very inspiring purport, anytime when I feel that things are not going the right way, what should I do? There is a purport in second canto, 9th chapter. I'll just share that purport with you. It's beautiful purport, where Prabhupada says, an easy life and Krishna consciousness do not go hand in hand. Let's see that verse first. Let's see that purport. So this is Brahma, who when he was born from the navel of Krishna, from the navel of Vishnu. I was mentioning about that in the Bhagavad Gita, the recitation day. Brahma was born. Brahma just came out of the lotus by the desire of the Lord. Lord knew that Brahma has to do this secondary creation. That's why he has created Brahma. But he didn't reveal this knowledge immediately to him. It's not like Brahma was born, Krishna knows why Brahma has come. So he could have told him directly, okay, do this, go ahead and, this is the knowledge, how you have to do this creation, the secondary creation, this is the knowledge, and go ahead. He didn't do that. He just told tapa twice. And Brahma had to do 1,000 years of his time, tapasya. Srijami tapasvi devam, grasami tapasa punaha, bibhrami tapasa vishwam, biryam me duscharam tapaha. Very powerful translation. I create this cosmos by such penance. I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potency is penance only. And this purport, if any time you feel like, what's going on, why somebody is very difficult to deal with, what this service which is given to me is very tough, read this purport for inspiration. Very powerful purport, actually. 4 5 lines. Very, very, very nice. In executing penance, one must be determined to return home back to Godhead and must decide to undergo all types of tribulations for that end. So what is this penance? I'm not saying that somebody has to come barefoot from his house in hot sun and then see that blisters are there, but I'm oblivious to it. I've come here for devotional service. That is not what is expected. But the expectation is actually we have to work cooperatively. In one of the statements in the purport of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, when the Prachetas, they were worshipping together, Prabhupada writes, because there is cooperation amongst themselves that pleases Krishna. So the penance that is required for us is to have that ability to tolerate, to work together. Even if my mind is giving so many excuses, even if I'm feeling that this is difficult, this is austere, I should still do it. Why? Because in executing penance, one must be determined to return home back to Godhead and must decide to undergo all types of tribulations for that end. It's not a cheap thing that we are trying to achieve. Very lofty Krishna prema, going back home, back to Godhead. Our heart has to be completely cleansed of all anarthas. I cannot say, well, Krishna will not notice. He will not see that I have got this anarthas. Somehow I'm just chanting, I'm doing my part. No, I'll come, my family, everything I'll take care. I'll come sometime, I'm doing something, and I will go back home, back to Godhead. No, it's not possible. In executing penance, one must be determined to return home back to Godhead and must decide to undergo all types of tribulations for that end. Even for material prosperity and name and fame, one has to undergo severe types of penances. Otherwise, no one can become an important figure in this material world. Why then should there not be severe types of penances for the perfection of devotional service? And this statement of Prabhupada, an easygoing life and attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. There are many people actually who draw lines. Okay, only on Sunday at sharp at 8:45, prasadam will be ready. That time I'll show up, or something. At 12:45 when the Rajbhog is ready, I'll take. Good, great, you will get that benefit. But Krishna prema, that is tough. That is not easy. That's why an easygoing life and attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. The Lord is more clever than any living entity. Therefore, he wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in devotional service. The order is received from the Lord either directly or through the bona fide spiritual master. And to execute that order, however painstaking, is the severe type of penance. One who follows the principle rigidly is sure to achieve success in attaining the Lord's mercy. It's a very important statement. Very, very important. Brahma could have been given this knowledge immediately. We could also go back to home, back to Godhead by uttering one name of Krishna. It's easy. I just uttered Krishna and then I should go back to Goloka. Why I have to keep chanting 16 rounds every day? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's an important question we should ask. Because this penance is something which pleases the Lord. One who follows the principle rigidly is sure to achieve success in attaining the Lord's mercy. Lord's mercy doesn't come. Is it Lord some kind of a maniac or something that he is waiting? He is suffering kar rahe? No, that penance is good for us. That penance is actually purifying us. Tapo divyam putraka suddhyeti cha sattvam. Penance should be done with the goal of going back home, back to Godhead, nothing else. And that penance is divyam. That is purifying us. That is what this Sanatan Goswami is showing, that how he was not bothered that blister is coming, whatever it is. Somebody can decide. No, who wants to? Actually, if you have seen, once if you have gone out, even in a vehicle, in the noon time in May, June in Jagannath Puri, it's extremely hot. You'll be perspiring, sweating like anything, and those sand, like it will be burning. That's what it is mentioned. It's like fire. But he's coming to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, forgetting everything else. This is my goal. Whatever difficulties. Literally, he walked on the fire. We might have to walk on the fire figuratively. Some difficulties will come, some inconveniences will come, some things will not go well, I will have some issues with someone, but I still have to learn to work cooperatively, because an easygoing life and attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. You cannot sit, ho jayega sab. So I know about Bhagavad Gita, I know Bhagavatam, I know everything. I'll just sit and chant, it will happen. No, it will not happen. Let's go back to the incidents. It's a very, very powerful thing. Actually, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are so instructive, so many things to be learned. So let's see what happens further. So Govinda gave Sanatan Goswami the plate with remnants of Lord Chaitanya's food. And after taking the prasadam, Sanatan Goswami approached Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the Lord inquired, "By which path have you come?" Sanatan Goswami replied, "I have come on the path along the beach." He has told this much. Now I just want to pause again one more time and tell you something very interesting. Sometimes people in the material world also take austerity. They also take austerity for achieving something. But that austerity and this austerity, there is a huge difference. We should not think in our mind, okay, I am also starving myself from Netflix, from YouTube, from all these things, and I'm studying, I'm trying to become successful in material exam, I'm doing penance. No, that penance is different. There's a very nice story which Prabhupada says. The story is the story of this donkey. This donkey, and there was a washerman, right? So this donkey was very reluctant to walk, especially if the donkey is loaded with so much of clothes. He was not able to even get up. So then the washerman, what he did, he showed one carrot. So the moment he saw the carrot, somehow he lifted himself. So he lifted himself, and then he's seeing the carrot. He thought, wow, that's a nice carrot in front of me dangling, and he was happy. So this washerman tied the carrot to him. And he thought, maybe let me take one step. If I take this one step, I will get the carrot. Where is the carrot? This carrot is not going. It's still the distance is the same. Then he takes the next step. And then he thinks, now probably I'll reach the carrot. But again, the carrot is going, the distance is further away. So it is not coming. This is what is the enjoyment promised by Maya. Maya promises one step, one more step. You come, you will get it. It's all yours. So with that promise, somebody gets up with all difficulty. My God, somehow I have to push one more time. He pushes and then goes, and then the carrot has again moved forward. So again, Maya says, don't worry, this time you failed. No. Next time guaranteed, 100%. So next time again the person with all hope, bigger energy tries that I will get it. But again, the carrot is same distance away. This is the difference between the Maya's thing and the spiritual thing. Whereas the spiritual thing is meant for this penance is purifying us. Penance for the satisfaction of the Lord, for the satisfaction of the spiritual master. So very different kinds of penance. Ultimately, this donkey goes to the riverside, and then the person, the washerman, takes out that carrot, removes all the clothes, washes it, again puts it back. Again, he'll show that carrot, and the person will, the donkey will see with the hope that the carrot he'll be able to eat. He will get up and he will come back to house, and in front of that same donkey, that washerman will cut that carrot and eat it. And this is what is the situation of material world. So here what happens now, we will go back to our Sanatan Goswami. Very, very significant. The first thing that I told was that the easy life and transcendental realization in spiritual life do not go hand in hand. So now the Lord is inquiring, by which path have you come? Sanatan Goswami replied, I have come on the path along the beach. And then Prabhu Kai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how did you come along the beach where the sand is so hot? Why didn't you come on the path in front of the Simhadwara gate? It is very cool. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything. He is the super soul in the heart. He is aware that he has come through this hot beach path, but he's still asking for a reason. We will see that. So Sanatan Goswami is responding. The hot sand. No. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is continuing. The hot sand must have blistered your souls. Now you cannot walk. How did you tolerate it? Sanatan Goswami is replying, I did not feel much pain, nor did I know that there were blisters because of the heat. Then he says, I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara, for the servants of Jagannath are always coming and going there. I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara, for the servants of Jagannath are always coming and going there. This is the crucial point, if you can take this home. Because there are so many things we talk, but this one thing which Sanatana Goswami says in the further statement that he'll make has got so much depth in it. I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara. What happens is, in the community of devotees, when we start practicing devotion, we forget about this important thing. What is my right? Am I supposed to say this? Am I supposed to do this? Do I have the right to do this? This is something called Vaishnava etiquette or Maryada. If that thing gets missed, so he is saying, I don't have a right to pass by the Simhadwara, for the servants of Jagannath are always coming and going there. I don't deserve there. Often people forget that. They think it's all same. After all, I am also cooking. He is also cooking. What is the difference? We are all same. And we take the position of somebody else's and start comparing, complaining and criticizing. I should always be careful. What is it that I'm supposed to do? What is it? That is a very thin, fine line. If I cross that, there is problem. Severe problem. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about that. How crossing that line creates so much of problem. When we don't know, we think, it's all same. No, that also is doing something. I'm also. No, there is a very fine line of Vaishnava etiquette, and there is a Vaishnava aparad. I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara. I don't deserve. I should know what is my eligibility, what am I supposed to do, what am I not supposed to. Some senior devotee is calling very lovingly and affectionately, maybe calling you with some name or something. You respond back in the similar manner. How can I do that? I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara, for the servants of Jagannath are always coming and going there. And the next statement that he makes is even more powerful. The servants are always coming and going without interval. If I touch them, I shall be ruined. See, what is he thinking? So the first thing that he is telling is, I should know my boundaries. I should know my limits. Not that somebody is becoming free with you. You should also become free with him and start doing anything. It's a very important thing. Actually, in the subsequent verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say that the decoration of a Vaishnava, everybody wants to look attractive. So that's why, you have got a green jacket, you've got a brown this thing. Somebody else buys because you want to look attractive. This dress will make you feel good. Somebody puts his tilak nicely, full straight, then nice dhoti kurta. Probably I'm looking good. No, the real ornament of a devotee is Vaishnava etiquette. If you have the right Vaishnava etiquette, that attracts Krishna. Krishna doesn't get attracted by our dress, by how I'm carrying myself, what I'm doing. No. Vaishnava etiquette. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will reveal. We'll come to that. But see this statement. The servants are always coming and going without interval. If I touch them, I shall be ruined. This statement is so powerful by Sanatana Goswami. His mood is very nicely revealed in this. So he is not worried that because of the source that, the pus that he is having, if he touches, then, the people will get contaminated. He is telling, no. The servants are always coming and going without interval. If I touch them, I shall be ruined. Not that they will have problem. I shall be ruined. Why? Prabhupada writes in the purport, herein it is very clearly indicated that priests performing deity worship should be careful to keep themselves completely pure and not to be touched by outsiders. It's a fact. I mean, what we are doing it's not like anything is acceptable. Anything is fine. Somebody can come and walk in without, maintaining the Suchi standards. No, I have to maintain that Suchi standards. Very clearly indicated that priests performing deity worship should be careful to keep themselves completely pure and not to be touched by outsiders. Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur, thinking themselves mlechas and yavanas because of their past association with Muslims, did not enter the temple or even travel on the path in front of the temple gate. It is customary for the priests of the temples in India not even to touch outsiders or enter the deity room after having been touched. This is very important item in temple worship. This is the etiquette that one should follow in the temple. A priest has to be very careful. He has to maintain that Suchi standards. But the point what Sanatan Goswami is making is far more deeper. Servants are always coming and going without interval. If I touch them, I shall be ruined. Why? Because if I touch them, if by accident, if I touch them, they have to take bath, or they have to do whatever they are carrying, it will get contaminated. They have to do it again. And the cause of this disturbance is happening because of me. I shall be ruined. Now this point is very important. When we are doing devotional service, we should not create disturbance for somebody else. Because of me, if I am disturbing somebody else, I will be ruined. People plot sometimes. Okay, let me remove this person. Let me remove that guy. He is not helping me. He is not doing this thing. Let me remove, or let me do these things. If I become the cause of disturbance for somebody else, forget about that person. I will be ruined. It's a very important thing. Then he says, having heard all these details, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, greatly pleased, spoke as follows. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to speak. Very important. We'll see this. What I'm trying to say is, how do we curb this pride? Of course, the verse is very clear that, pride is something which can come to anyone. I've been doing this thing very nicely for so many years. Naturally, pride comes. Some appreciation here and there, pride comes. How do we curb? Curbing is possible by this Vaishnava etiquette, following it very strictly. Having heard all these details, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu greatly pleased and spoke as follows. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says? Before I go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this thing, I want to tell you this. Anybody knows who's this guy? Not you. Okay. ये क्या देख? ओ इधर कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा है. टीवी ऑन नहीं किया है तुम? क्या है? देखिए फोटो को. कौन है? शेषु बाबू. नो प्रो. क्या नो प्रो? Huh? You have to. Now you should remember. Next time I'll show you. I'll ask you. You should be able to tell. Anybody? कितने बार दिखाया हूँ, कितने बार पहुंचा हूँ पता नहीं. Anyway, this person's name is Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni was Saubhari Muni वो रिवर यमुना में जाके अंदर बैठ के तपस्या कर रहे थे, so that he didn't want to get disturbed by all this whatever material things were going on. He wanted to protect himself, and he was sitting there and doing austerity, and he was doing meditation. But interestingly, this Saubhari Muni did a very severe offense. Not knowing his limits, what are his limits, he did something for which something catastrophe happened in his life. So Garuda used to come and take fish from this pond, from this river. Garuda is a bird. It's supposed to eat this fish, and he came there to take this fish. So all of a sudden, this Saubhari Muni told, "Hey, Garuda, you should not come here. I'm a powerful yogi. This area belongs to me. You cannot take any fish from here." Garuda said, what are you saying? Fish I'm supposed to eat. This is my food. The Lord has ordained me like that. I am supposed to take. He didn't listen to Saubhari Muni. He took his fish and went. Saubhari Muni cursed him. Next time you come here, you'll die. He didn't bother about it. Garuda went back. Because of this curse that Saubhari Muni uttered, Saubhari Muni, when he was sitting in meditation, because he crossed his limits, he didn't know who he is, who Garuda is. He didn't have that fine understanding of where to draw the lines. He thought, I'm also a very big yogi, I'm doing sadhana for so long. He cursed. Because of that curse, he saw two fish kissing each other, mating. I mean, for a man especially someone who's trying to control his mind and senses, who's doing this austerity going in the river, fish kissing should not bother. I mean, you see some lower animals mating, it doesn't affect. But his mind got agitated and disturbed. And because of that, he came out of that river, went to Mandhata, got married to 50 girls. He expanded himself, got married, indulged in all these things. All his tapovala, everything got spoiled. Everything got finished because of this one thing, Vaishnava Aparadh. Not just that, after that, when Krishna actually subdued Kaliya and Garudadev, they had enmity. There was no other, because he had cursed that if Garudadev comes to this place, then he will die. So Kaliya, the poisonous snake, came to this place where Saubhari Muni was there. He finished all the fishes also. He ate all the fishes. Not just fishes, the birds who were flying also, they died. Point is, he could not even protect. So he was thinking he'll be protecting those fishes. He couldn't even protect them. He also could not protect his own tapovala because of that one thing. So this pride can lead to havoc, and to prevent ourselves from that, very important is to have this Vaishnava etiquette, to know who I am, what is my limit, what can I do, what I cannot. I have to be very careful in dealing with the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, I'll ruin myself first before ruining others. I may be thinking I'm ruining him actually, but actually I'm ruining myself. Let's see what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. My dear Sanatana, although you are the deliverer of the entire universe, and although even the demigods and great saints are purified by touching you, it is the characteristic of a devotee to observe and protect the Vaishnava etiquette. Maintenance of the Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. This is what I was telling. Maintenance of the Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. You really want to attract the attention of the Lord. You want the Lord to see you. That is only possible not by your good dress, nice this thing. No, by Vaishnava etiquette. It's the ornament of a devotee. Actually, what he says is, यद्योपि तुम्ही हो जगत पावन तोमा स्पर्शे पवित्र है देव मुनिगण तथापि भक्त स्वभाव मर्यादा रक्षण मर्यादा पालन है साधुर भूषण तथापि भक्त स्वभाव. This is the bhakta swabhava. This is the nature. Bhakta swabhava. This is characteristic. Maryada rakshana, to protect the Vaishnava etiquette. It is the characteristic of a devotee to observe and protect. Many times we become familiar. We think, okay, ये तो मैं भी जानता हूँ इनको क्या है, आके बोल देता हूँ कुछ भी. I should be very careful to know my limits. If you don't do that, what happens? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the next verse, Maryada langhane loka kare upahas, iha loka paraloka dui hayanas. If one transgresses the laws of etiquette, people make fun of him in this life. In the very life, what is this person? He doesn't know even how to talk, how to behave, what to do. If one transgresses the laws of etiquette, people make fun of him, and thus he is vanquished in both this world and the next. Iha loka paraloka dui hayanasa. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied my mind. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied my mind. Who else but you could show this example? After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Sanatana Goswami, and the moisture oozing from the itching source on Sanatan's body smeared the body of the Lord. Although Sanatana Goswami repeatedly forbade Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to embrace him, the Lord still did so. Thus, his body was smeared with the moisture from Sanatana's body, and Sanatana became greatly distressed. Point is, this is a very simple pastime. Actually, there is more to it. If there is time, I will go that, but we're already exceeding time. So it is so important to protect ourselves, to know actually if that thing is missing in life. If we are not careful, if there are of course many courses, many these things on Vaishnava etiquette, we have to be very careful, very very careful. So if you are not able to do, then pride comes, and because of the pride, what happens? Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. Oh Govinda, oh Krishna, it will not come. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. But there is a quality to such utterances also. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, Bahu Janma. You may be chanting the names of the Lord for many lifetimes. Krishna Prema will not come unless it is done with that feeling, with that sincerity. And that will not happen if there is a lot of pride. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. You are materially puffed up, you just come, okay, somebody told, Hare, Krishna, Krishna, you will tell and go. Feelingly it will not come. That feelingly chanting, one name is enough. We won't be able to do it unless, there is, if pride comes. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. To conclude our time, to remember this verse, I have kept it towards the end. So what Kunti Maharani is telling is, Janmeshwarya Shruta Shribhir Edhamana Madah Puman Naivahartiya Vidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. Very powerful. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. 4 things: birth, opulence, knowledge, intelligence, or beauty. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shrivar, Edhamana. People are trying to accelerate, improve these 4 things. And when they are trying to do that, per se, they don't have any problem. But when somebody is trying to enhance, accelerate, or improve those things, madah, then there is pride. Edhamana, madah, puman. Madah comes, pride comes. And because of that pride, naivaharti avidhatum vai, one cannot call out the Lord feelingly. Naivaharti avidhatum vai, tvam akinchana gocharam. Oh Lord, you are actually the property of impoverished, materially impoverished person. Akinchana gocharam. So does it mean that only rich people rich people cannot get the Supreme Lord? Only some beggar who's in the street or who's a materially poor person will get that? No. It's not about poor or it's not about rich. It's about that feeling of possessiveness. This is all mine. This all belongs to me. That possessiveness is the cause of problem. A beggar also may be a proud person for all that you know. I know, for example, there was one beggar in Mumbai when I was working. Every time we used to go through that signal, he would be standing there. So one day I was going with one of my friends. He had a car and we used to drive together. And the signal, he saw us, and we lowered for some reason, probably the glass was, the windows, this thing was down. So that person came and asked me for some change. So I looked, pocket सब कुछ देखा, wallet में देखा. Actually मेरे पास change नहीं था. I didn't have change. So I said I don't have change. So ₹1 लेके मेरे मुंह पे मेर दे. Well, keep the change for yourself. कभी जा काम आएगा, you keep it with you. Pride can come to even, had it not been true, all poor people would have become Krishna conscious, and all rich people are, they are deprived of that opportunity. That is not the point. Point is somebody who's got that strong possessiveness. This is all mine. I have to protect. I have to enhance. That leads to pride. That pride is the problem. It is not about rich or poor. It is not about that. That is very clear. But somebody who's who's busy enhancing, ameliorating, or improving, or increasing and enhancing those things, cannot call out the Lord feelingly. This is what Kunti Maharani is telling. To conclude our time together, who was there in the morning today for Mangalarti or this thing, reading for the quote? You were there. Do you remember? So what is the quote that we had in the morning? Just the essence. If you can see the essence, tell me the essence, that's great. Correct. I'll just read. You should make sure that there is nice Arati program, 6 Arati daily at least. You should make sure that there is nice, fresh, clean dress every morning, nice bathing ceremony every morning, nice offerings of prasadam. You should see that the deity is tended for and cooked for only by the duly second initiated brahmanas. The deity should have nice flowers every day, etc., etc. You should try to bring them up to the highest standard, such as we have in Los Angeles or New Vrindavan. Shri Shri Radha Madana Mohana have kindly descended in their Archa Vigraha. From now, you must receive them with that consciousness. And by serving them, you will develop pure love of Krishna. So the word, we sing this song also. In Samsara Davanala towards the end, what is that? No. After Samsara Davanala is over, when we finish before Jai Radha Damodar, that we sing that, no? Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. What is that? How does it start? Hariharaya Nama Krishna, Yadavaya Nama, Yadavaya Madhavaya, Keshavaya Nama, Gopal Govinda Ram, Sri Madhusudana, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Actually, the word Madana Mohana has something very powerful and striking, relevant to what we are talking today. Of course, Madana Mohana is someone who is whose beauty is so much that crores of cupids also are of no use. I mean, the toenail of the Lord is so beautiful that the cupids are of also no match. But there is another meaning which I had heard from our devotees in Bangalore. Madana Mohana. Madana. So Mada is his pride. Na. No pride. Madana Mohana. Moha is illusion. Na. Madana Mohana. So the Lord doesn't accept our pride, doesn't accept the illusion. If we really want to accept, if we really want to get the love of Godhead, we have to get rid of this. And the only way that is possible is when we are in association of devotees, when we are trying to follow the Vaishnava etiquettes, we will remain protected. Otherwise, it's very tough. So I'll stop here and see if you have any questions or comments. Yes, sir. Press it for a few seconds.
Prabhu, today the Saubari Maharshi's anger you talked about. In our Puranas also, we have many anecdotes about Sapta Rishis who are very learned, also becoming vulnerable to anger and cursing. So is that their like split second failure, Prabhu, or is it Maya challenging them?
So it's not a split second challenge. These are all lowly demands of the body which overpowers us. If we have not learned the art of controlling them, they will overpower us. So this whole process of Krishna consciousness is actually meant to overcome all these anarthas. And there are some things we have to be conscious of, like this anartha I have. If somebody is pointing out, or if somebody is telling, I should pay attention to that. It doesn't go automatically unless there is a conscious effort put in that. Like if humility is a virtue, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu keeps telling, but we have to be very conscious about how to become humble, where pride is coming. So we have to put some efforts. Anger is something which is produced from the mode of passion. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. Mahasano mahapapma vidhyenam ihavairinam. So it's a product of passion. When the passion is influencing us, byproduct is anger. But it can be overcome by the process of devotion. It can be overcome. So even some of those sages or advanced people that you are talking about are not completely free from the mode. So Saubari Muni is not a pure devotee. So that's how he committed this offense. There's a funny story. With this we'll close. There was one man who went to one guru, told that I'm having a lot of problems with my wife, just intolerable. The situation is pani yahan tak aa gaya hai. Nothing can be done. What should I do? Guru said, Guru, actually the sage, he looked at him and laughed a little bit, smiled. Okay, pani yahan tak aa gaya? No problem. So then he took out some rice and gave it to him in his hand, that person. Then he thought, what am I supposed to do? Should I make some rice and feed my wife and she'll be fully alright? Said, no, no. Then he said, okay, what should I? So should I feed the raw rice, like something so you can chew, and then the anger, everything will be will disappear. I said, no, no, no. What should I do? He said, you put it in your mouth. So that's it. That's it. So he went back. So whenever the wife gets angry or anything happens, the mouth is filled with rice. So he's not able to speak anything. But he's just rice filled with his mouth. So he wants to say them, but he's not able to say anything. So then after 15 days, 1 month, he again went back to that sage. Miracle. What you gave? Just miracle. So if you can control the tongue at the time of provocation, everything will be all right. How can we control?
Some people may not even realize that they are doing a Maryada Vyattikramana, or in Saubhari Muni's case too, probably did not realize who Garuda is.
So this Friday, I think there is a class which Chanchalpati Prabhu has given. It's a old class. Should hear that class. So Prabhu is talking about the advantage of having a organization where we are all coming together. We all have our own anarthas. You have your anarthas, I have my anarthas. And these anarthas manifest when we do devotional service together. Where I dislike, I become agitated, I become angry, I feel proud. That will not manifest when you are alone at home. Will not manifest. You'll never know that. Like Sauri Muni बैठा है उसको क्या पता? But when it happens, there is a correction mechanism. So when somebody points out, especially your authorities, and they say that this is something which is not good, we should accept it. We should be humble enough to accept that at that point in time. Maybe I'm not able to digest it at that point in time, but I should still take it and reflect on it and work on it so that I can improve. This is a wonderful system which is established by Prabhupada. Genius, actually. So when we come together and we do devotional service, it is not some theory that we have to memorize, read and something and go. It is expected to bring that behavioral change within, and that is possible when we engage in practical devotional service together. So there is a correction mechanism which helps us to overcome these things. So he didn't know what is his eligibility. He was not aware of it, and he committed a Vaishnava aparadha. The aparadha happens when you don't know your limits. When you think everything is fine, I can also take the position of somebody else and can comment or do something and start looking at faults. Am I supposed to do that first? So everywhere I'm supposed to remind myself when such things happen. Really, am I eligible to do this or comment or say? If not, then I can go on telling. Actually, there is one. Okay, you can stop.